Hey everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. I wanted to show you today my completed junk journal. I actually finished this last night, and when I say finished it, I mean finished filling it. I made this probably a year ago. I called it my black and white junk journal. I made this tassel that has some fun charms on it, a key. I did some beads. I did all kinds of dark gray, black and white laces in this black and tan gingham. And then I had put on this little charm that says truth. And I used a Tim Holtz book clip. I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's, I don't know. It's kind of like that. People use it in the spines of the junk journals to hang a tassel on. Just for ornamental purposes. It could easily untie off of there. I had made this with a sewn visible spine, obviously 3 signatures. If you're new to junk journaling, that means the little booklets within a bigger book. So when I made this, of course it was like this. Now it's like this. I made just an easy way of closing it with a stretchy elastic. And I had tied on or pinned it on with this charm that has a Bible verse, Ephesians 1:13, and a couple little beads. One of them is a little jingle bell. A little jingle bell bead. Here's the charm. Anyway, that held it shut really well until I added a few cards to this. So the cards, as you can see, there's one there. We're really adding a lot of bulk to it, and it's just too full. So I am not going to be able to finish filling this journal unless I just decide to like write in it, just do some writing journaling. But as far as memorabilia, any kind of card or paper item, it's just too full. And I'm afraid that that back spine is going to split. So I have about really almost a full signature of unused space. I did stick a card in there that my husband gave me from our last anniversary, and I think I have just this little business card from a friend. Gosh, I keep getting it off screen. Sorry about that. Sold Air. It's a creative blog. You might like checking that out. She makes lots of neat books and things. Anyhow, it's just too full. So I can go back through and take out some of these cards and have more room. But I kind of feel like I'm ready to move on. I've spent a lot of time in this. It's been a really fun way to scrapbook, which is primarily what this is. But it's just full, and it's time to go. I'll just briefly say, though, that I had split the spine of a big book, used this muslin to cover the book after I expanded the spine. I cut down the center, put some cardboard to make it bigger, wrap it with some packaging tape or like duct tape actually, just to make a thicker spine. So it's really fun. But as you can see, just stuffed, filled to the brim. I have learned a little something about this scrapbooking. Let me show you this side of it where there's less things poking out. I have 3 signatures. I don't even know. I did have it counted at one time how many pages, but I think there's 200 something sides here to write on or memory keep on. Plus there were journaling cards. There were all kinds of added things I put in there for people to journal on. I ended up using it myself. I had intended that it would be sold, but I ended up needing one and I used it. Anyhow, what I think I need to do next time, and if you're making a journal, think about this. If you're going to stuff it with lots of stuff and not just write in it, make sure there's enough room for it to expand without this spine taking too much pressure or risk splitting off the threads or twine that's tying it. So what I think would be good to do, I could still do 3 signatures to give it that you know how the odd numbers kind of tend to look more balanced than just even numbers? That's kind of funny, but it does work that way. So yes, make 3 signatures, but make them maybe half as thick, a lot less pages. So each one I could take out a big hunk. It could still get full and it could still contain the stuff without flailing out like this, which, I mean, it's fun, but it's just kind of a nuisance. So when I got to putting in some things last night, it was just really even hard to journal on the side because this is so full. So my suggestion would be less quantity paper-wise or page-wise. Don't do so many pages. I mean, even with this being like 3 inches, it's still just too full. So I could just do another book. I don't have to put everything in this book. Maybe to try to commemorate a half a year versus whatever I did, probably over a year. So I like this. I added this spaghetti jar label. I liked the colors. I'm into the golden yellows and olivey greens, maybe you could say, or yellowy greens. These are a little bit maybe brighter than I might have added, but I put this on to kind of add a little more to this space. In the front, when I originally made this, I had covered up the seam here where the muslin was coming together. I put on some scrapbooking paper and then I glued on this lace just for more embellishment. I really like having all the embellishment, and they're so much fun to look at. It's just too full. It's just bursting. So I'm learning. I've been making junk journals for about 3 years. I've sold some, I've given away some, I've used some, and I feel like I can make a decent journal now, a sturdy journal. But I'm learning that, like I've said like 3 times already, don't overstuff your signatures or make them so thick. It just, I mean, you know, I could have a spine out to here, but who wants to carry a 5-inch spine book around? So that's a nuisance. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Still add the fun embellishments, make it creative, but don't put so many pages in each signature, and account for the fact that people are going to want to, if you're like me and you like to do more of a smash book style, you're going to need to have it where it can expand without making your book so thick. I put in a lot of flyers from events, you know, like a little store thing. This is a local candy and coffee shop. We went there one day, so I picked up their little card. You know, here's a note from a friend. Here's another thing from our art museum. I like to put in little stickers from fruit and veggies, little tags from things, other notes, all kinds of stuff like that. But when you start adding bulkier things, like here, I have this folded paper. I have several cards that I recently received, thicker things from our vacation. It bulked up super fast. So anyway, enough of that. I want to show you one of the things I did last night too. Let me make sure this is actually in the screen. A friend of mine lives in Nepal. She's been visiting. She brought me an early birthday gift that she had wrapped in this really beautiful pansy wrapping paper. I've always loved pansies. They were a flower that my grandpa used to plant, and I remember ages ago, oh gosh, I must have been 4 or something, he came to our yard and planted some for my mom around trees, and that was just a sweet little memory. My grandpa was quite a bit older as far as grandpas go when I was a little girl, so I didn't have him too long in my life, but I remember him just coming over and doing that nice thing for my mom, and how cool that felt to have my grandpa there. He was a florist. He worked at greenhouses where they grow the flowers, and so he was pretty much an expert on plants, primarily flowers. So anyway, I cut out the few pieces of the pansies from the wrapping paper, a few pieces of wrapping paper of the pansies, and I put in this card in these corner tuck spots from my friend. This paper from Nepal is really beautiful. It's got so much texture. You can see little bits and pieces. I just love it. I've always admired the handcraftiness, handiwork of the paper in Nepal. It's just got its own look and even kind of feel, and even kind of like a nice little woodsy papery scent. I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's really cool. I love the texture. So anyway, I made this little mini, I don't know, collage or just page to commemorate that gift. I don't see her too often. She used to babysit me, and now we're friends and we see each other when she's in town. Usually, anyway. I did, here's a piece of ribbon from the gift, and I used my new stamp and melting wax thing to just hold down a piece of the ribbon from the package. It says thanks on there, so I don't know if that's visible. This stamp is one I had from my preteen, or at least early teen years. I was super into the stamping and sealing wax. I recently bought these sealing wax stars off of Amazon after seeing Helen Colebrook from Journal with Purpose use them. They come in all different colors. I just put it in this cool little jar. Comes in a little bag though. My daughter gave that little jar to me. And anyway, so I stamped it. And you can see there's, maybe you can see, but there's a little glimmery, a shimmer to it. So full it won't stay open, of other colors. And I just left those on the spoon. Here's the spoon. I was going to show you that. So some of the wax just stays in there, and I had somebody, or I watched somebody on YouTube that just said just leave it in there and you can melt it, and then when you do your next seal, it'll just have a little bit of other colors in it. So it kind of gives it an iridescent look. But you could also heat that up and wipe it out with a little paper towel or something if you want a pure color for your next thing. So anyway, there it is, a nice thick junk journal. I actually probably started using this last November. That's my first entry. I may have put some other things in a little bit earlier than November, but basically it's been, gosh, I mean, not even a year's worth of stuff. Possibly a year, because the way I do this, I just kind of put stuff in wherever. It's kind of in chronological order, but I'll go back and forth and just find spaces that I want to use. For example, I just got this card not that long ago, but it's earlier in the album. So anyway, it's been fun. I do like this junk journaling. I like the texture. I like the visual. Oh, like it's like an adventure, a picnic. You know, it's a treasure hunt. There's so much stuff to look at. There's so many different kinds of papers. There's homemade embellishments. There's scrapbooking paper. There's cards. There's stickers. It's just, if you like detail, if you like looking at stuff, you would enjoy just browsing through somebody's Smashbook style scrapbook. I don't know if I have stolen that term from the official Smashbook people, but I think that's a good definition of a scrapbook, where you just smash in everything. You just glue it in or adhere it with washi tape or glue, and you have a little bit of everything all in one book. I don't know if I will do another junk journal like this for the coming up year. I may use my new, I just showed this in a video, but this is from Start Bay Notebooks in East Devon, England, United Kingdom. I might do my year's records, record keeping, journaling, whatever, and that, and try something obviously much more streamlined than this. But this will be fun. This will be sitting up on our shelf, and anytime anybody wants to look through it, they can. It's here. It commemorates a lot of things I've done over the year and some of the stuff we've done together as a family. I love to look at it from the top. It's so much fun to see that. And my favorite thing is these deer ear peeking out from a flyer that from a park we went to not too long ago. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this and what you think of junk journaling, how you use it, how you use your junk journal if you have one. And if you have had a similar experience with bursting spines. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.